Welcome back to Riddell's War Chest, the glossary you've been looking for your whole life. We're into the D's, and the first word is Davos Man, as exposed by author Peter Goodman. These are the billionaire global pillagers who meet annually in Davos, Switzerland for the World Economic Forum to write the rules for the rest of us to follow. Inflated ideas of their own wisdom and beneficence is an evidence as if we are to behold their enormous wealth and trust us that we will lead you too into prosperity and success. And in these matters we will continue to be the sole source of truth about what is best for humanity, albeit under their control, influence and fiscal government. They are currently benefiting hugely from disasters, wars, pandemics and taxpayer-funded bailouts to keep their banks afloat and government contracts secure during financial crises that they themselves might well have caused. For example, from financial derivatives that ignored basic arithmetic. For example, by financing the weaponizing, the so-called gain of function of microbes for germ warfare in Chinese laboratories, while impervious to the threat of totally justified proportional taxation on the basis of outdated Keynesian economics. That their great wealth accumulation via legislation and tax loopholes will somehow trickle down to the masses, as long as they themselves remain lightly taxed. Something we believed back in the 60s, something that has happened zero number of times, observes Peter Goodman. While still in the D's, let's have a look at demographic collapse, another very relevant topic for a bunch of first world nations now. Irreversible population decline is the result of a toxic combination of contraception, restricted families, cost of living increase, homonormative lifestyles which quickly reach the irreversible point, currently now being experienced in Japan. This is evidenced when adult diapers actually outsell baby diapers and revenue gathered falls below the line of public expenses needed. Still in the D's, let's take a look at the good old-fashioned one called denial, the avoidance of any uncomfortable or inconvenient truth that threatens to be overwhelming, exemplified by the recent mass walkout of British MPs who did not want to hear MP Andrew Bridgen deliver a critique of parliamentary policy to ignore mRNA-injured citizens. How dare they? Exemplified by parents unwilling to admit that their children's schools have become hijacked by ideologues indoctrinating in the name of civics on topics like critical race theory, LGBT normative propaganda and feminist philosophy. Also, that abortion is actually premeditated murder of our offspring. Fetus equals offspring. That whoever pays the piper in government and corporates is actually calling the tune, and that the whole world lies in the grip of the evil one and therefore predestined to share in his inheritance without divine intervention and redemption. And if Christians themselves weren't living in such denial of the eternal hellish abode that Christ repeatedly warned all of us about, we would be utterly inconsolable at the funeral of any loved one who has not died in Christ. Don't lose track of scriptural correctives like, "He who has not the Son has not the life," as per 1 John 5:12. And friendship with the world is tantamount to hostility with God, as per James 4:4. Denial. It's a dangerous problem for humanity. And here we go, the death of justice is witnessed on the day when an accusation requires neither witness nor evidence to be deemed proven reality in a court of law. This situation degenerates rapidly into a kangaroo court of inflamed emotions that need neither evidence nor fact to validate their verdicts. Check it out. Just ask Kelly J. Keane Minchell, women's rights activist, or British MP Kemi Badenoch, or Finnish politician Palvi Rissanen about what it feels like to be on the receiving end of the psychogenic epidemic. You will get quite an education on the current corrupted state of modern Western law if you check them out. The digital passport has been a topic of discussion lately. And in our D's, digital passport must loom large. The most recent, and together with the World Health Organization mandated health ID documents, this I believe is the greatest threat to human freedom the world has ever known. This empowers an authoritarian government already inclined toward overreach to become drunk with power and control. Sounds pretty totalitarian, doesn't it? And first began with the public indulgence of passport digital identity, face recognition, if you're not sure, photography, and then personal health records on government files, including the deeply controversial, divisory, and destabilizing mandated vaccine passes. See also the World Health Organization as by far the most likely platform for future one world government, even now, May 2023, assembling its international permissions and executive infrastructure, that it may rule the world one day soon. Still in the D's we have the dogmatic assumptions. These are what inhibit real progress in scientific inquiry. For example, gravity is a constant, dogmatic assumption or profound scientific truth. Nothing can travel faster than light, dogmatic assumption or profound scientific truth. mRNA is a vaccine and vaccines are safe and effective. Heterosexual conversion is indistinguishable from coercion, and all conversion should be outlawed. Variation is the proof of evolution. Dogmatic statement after dogmatic statement. The Bible has the same status as any other primitive historic book, and same-sex attraction is a genetic inevitability. Dogmatic to the core. When one is unable or unwilling to test these assumptions for validity, when the parameters of the search are predetermined before the experiments begin, then the search for truth has ceased and some other force has taken over. So that brings us to the end of the D's. Hope you enjoyed the journey. A, B, C, D of Riddell's war chest, the glossary of power, the very word you need when you need it to overcome ignorance, superstition, dogma, and blind prejudice. Use it or lose it. Thank you. I'm David Riddell, bringing you the War Chest. If you like what I've said so far, let me remind you that you can download the entire transcript for free. Click here and you'll be able to read it for yourself.